Hi scholars and welcome back to my channel. Today is Math Monday and we're going to be learning about dot plots. Alright, so looking at example 1, hours of sleep. Robert, a 6th grader at Roosevelt Middle School, usually goes to bed around 10 p.m. and gets up around 6 a.m. to get ready for school. That means he gets about 8 hours of sleep on a school night. He decided to investigate the statistical question, how many hours per night do 6th graders usually sleep when they have school the next day? Reminders about a statistical question is that a statistical question asks more than one person for an answer, and those answers are normally different, which means that the data has variability. We can see that the statistical question does have variability because it asks all the 6th graders, and not every 6th grader is going to get the same amount of sleep every night. Robert took a survey of 29 6th graders and collected the following data to answer the question. And we can see down here all of these numbers that represent the hours each student slept. Now, I want to find a way to organize all of these in a table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make what's called a frequency table. And a frequency table has 3 parts. It's going to have what the numbers represent, which in this case is hours slept. It's going to have a column for tallies. And those tally marks, remember, are just lines that help us keep track of how many of those hours we see. And then that last column, we're going to have frequency. Frequency means how often did those numbers actually show up. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the least amount of hours slept in this list. All right, so it looks like the least amount of hours slept is 5 hours. And I'm going to put my 5 right there. Now I'm going to find the most hours slept, and it looks like the most hours slept is 12, which means that my table is going to go from 5 hours to 12 hours. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like that. Now from here, I'm going to go through the line and I'm going to count up how many times I see these different numbers. For example, since I see a 7, I'm going to put a tally next to the 7, cross it out. Now I see 8, 5, 3 9s, 1, 2, 3, 2 more 7s, 2 10s, an 11, another 9, 3 8s, 1, 2, 3, a 12, a 6, another 11, another 10, 2 more 8s. Remember, when I get to 5, that 5th tally goes across. 3 9s, 1, 2, 3. Once again, that 5th tally going across. Another 8, another 10, 2 more 9s, and an 8. And we have now organized all of our data into this table and recorded how often those different hours showed up with tallies. And now I'm going to take those tallies and I'm going to write the frequency. So 5 showed up 1 time. 6 hours showed up 1 time. 7 hours showed up 3 times. 8 hours showed up 8 times. 9 hours showed up 9 times. 10 hours showed up 4 times. 11 hours showed up 2 times. And 12 hours showed up 1 time. So this frequency table is really great because I can look at how often these numbers occur. But when it comes to looking at the spread of the data or looking at the center of the data, how often do most sixth graders sleep? How often does a typical sixth grader sleep? It doesn't really help me answer any of those questions. So I'm going to take this frequency table and I'm going to turn it into a dot plot. Remember, a dot plot starts with a number line. And we're going to take all of these hours slept and we're going to put them on the number line. So I'm going to label my number line with hours slept. And I'm going to start at 5 because that's the least hours slept. And I'm going to count up all the way to the most hours slept, which is 12. And each of these tallies, I'm going to represent with a dot. So since 5 showed up one time, I'm going to only have one dot. Since 6 showed up one time, I'm going to have one dot. 7 showed up 3 times. 8 showed up 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 showed up 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 showed up 4 times. 11 showed up twice. And 12 showed up once. And now because we have this dot plot, we are able to see exactly what that data looks like. We can see where its center is. Remember, which is where most of that data lies. Okay? We actually have a visual representation based on like towers of what the most common number of hours slept is. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take this frequency table and this dot plot, and I've included pictures of them down below. You're going to take these and you're going to answer some questions about them. Make sure to rewatch this video if you need some help because I did give you some of the answers to those questions. Okay? Make sure you tune in tomorrow for part 2 of this video. Tomorrow we are going to learn about histograms and have a wonderful day, scholars.